family. We are so glad that you are tuning in here on a Monday. And today is another special Monday because we have some special guests with us here today. We have Chris and Jamie from Expedition Marriage. Welcome, you guys. We're so glad you are here.
Hey, thanks for having us. Yeah, this is exciting. This is good stuff.
I want to say that, we love you guys, and they are professional Christian counselors and they are marriage coaches. So yeah, we are so blessed to be able to have you with us today.
Yeah. Thank you. We're excited.
So we're catching y'all in the middle of your travels. So y'all get to do a lot of traveling. So we're glad that you took a few minutes of your time just to be able to connect and share your wisdom, because y'all been in the trenches helping and just, all in putting fun back in marriage, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're trying.
If nothing else, we're trying to be a good example.
That's right.
There you go. There you go.
And we do. We love y'all's message, and we just been following y'all on Instagram, and just the encouragement and just the advice too, and the tips that y'all give on marriages on Instagram. So when we invited you on, we didn't even realize at the time that you guys were actually a blended family as well. We just loved your marriage advice. So could y'all tell us just a little bit about that, like your family dynamics and what makes y'all's family you?
Yeah. I was actually married before. I grew up kind of in a lot of dysfunction, and I did the whole teenage pregnancy thing, getting married at 19, and it was a horrible marriage, a lot of domestic violence and things like that, and ended up sending my ex-husband to prison, for it. And so then we got divorced, and I met him, crazy enough, like 3 weeks after I separated from my husband. So the fact that we are married as long as we are, and that we are successfully married, like we had all the odds stacked against us. So we were young, and I already had a child, and I brought so much baggage into our new relationship, and we weren't believers at the time. So we met in the end of May, we moved in together in September. Like when I say we butchered this,
don't do that.
We really butchered it. And I always say that, the Lord had to have put blinders on him, because he didn't bring any of the baggage with him. He was completely like healthy, and I'm like, what?
No.
What were you thinking?
You just couldn't see the U-Haul I was driving around with.
So then we ended up getting married, and he actually adopted our oldest daughter. And so he's been her father in her life since she was about 1.5. Wow. And so she really doesn't know anybody other than, him as dad. And so that's been our life, but he is her father, just not her biological father. But we definitely had a lot of issues to work out when we got married, and we didn't know it until we got married.
Oh yeah. And being a blended family at that age with, a child that young, it certainly made it easier. That it took out a lot of the complexities that can result in a blended family. Because as you all well know, there's a lot of complexities, and with the complexities that there's just, stress and thickens blood and all that fun stuff. But we still had some of those little bumps and those little issues as far as thickening blood. And
because she's my daughter. She was my daughter for a while, and so I was extra protective.
Well, especially even with the past history that you had, like, look, this well, not that I was ever, but what I'm referring to, so the folks that are getting the wrong idea. So if ever I even raised my voice, and they wouldn't even be like, it's like, you're yelling. I'm not yelling. I'm
right.
This isn't yelling. No, you're yelling.
Oh no. Yep.
I do the same thing with him too. I'm like, stop yelling at me. And he's like,
I'm not yelling. It's just the stern voice,
I like, if he had but I had like father issues as well. And then a marriage that had similar situation. And so anytime that I thought he was getting on to me, it was like, it just sends that fear, like just comes up in your body. You can't stop it. It just happens.
Yes, you're automatically defensive, and it ignites that fight, flight, or freeze in your brain. And it's like, whoa, you're ready to protect right away.
Yeah, I know where this is going. Let's get it on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
And so y'all had children together as well, right?
Yes, we have 3 daughters all together. And so we had them when our oldest was 5. And so, and then we had them back to back, which we could do a whole nother episode on doing that. But yeah, so we have our 3 girls who are now 31, 26, and 25.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. And how long have y'all been married now?
28
Yeah,
years
28
in
years.
October, and we've been together a little over 30.
Yeah,
That-
this month or
Mhm.
May would have been a little over 30 years.
Mhm.
Wow. I love that. And so, see, you started with all odds stacked against you, and now look at you today. That's amazing. So, yeah,
Yes.
so much wisdom there, I'm sure.
So at what point
Yeah.
were y'all like, okay, we want to do this and help other people? Like Expedition Marriage, like how did that come about to where you're like, okay, we want to take all this that God has seen us through and help with other people?
Actually, what happened, I've always dreamt of being a counselor. Like that was my life goal. That's what I wanted to do, and had a lot of roadblocks and obstacles that kept me from that for some time. But what happened is we opened our private practice, and we would see all individuals, we would see some married couples. But what we found, and I worked with a lot of youth in the school system and things like that, what we found was everybody coming and sitting on our couch came from a broken home.
Mm.
Nobody's family was intact. And so our eyes were really opened that this is a problem. And so as much as we wanted to help individuals, it was time to start pulling up the roots of what's really happening. And so we started going for preventative, and it's like, you know what, we have to keep marriages together.
Yeah.
If we can keep the marriages together, if we can make the marriages strong, whether it's a second or third marriage, whatever marriage you're on,
Yeah.
let's stop the bleeding and keep that marriage together. And not only keep it together, but make it fun, make it healthy, and make these marriages thrive. And so that was kind of the shift for us, that, you know, we just want to get to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it felt, and I've said this before, it felt a lot like fighting a forest fire with a squirt gun.
Mhm.
Oh, yep.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and so how do we get a larger audience, so to speak to get ahead of some of this stuff before people get into the ditch, or even as preventatively as possible. Premarital people, well, we're in love and we're not going to have those problems that the other people have.
Yeah.
So it's usually the people who start to hit the bumps, but at least let them know, don't wait. Like a lot of couples will,
Right.
average couple wait up to 6 years before seeking help.
Yeah.
Instead of just, it's the Bible tells us that, there's kings and wise people, rulers, who sought godly counsel.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to do, to seek godly counsel. And so, and also we thought that, Expedition Marriage kind of spoke a little more to that fun aspect.
Enjoying the journey is our tagline. And that's why we
Yes.
love you guys so much,
Mhm.
because you're doing the same thing,
Oh yeah.
and we love that, because marriage shouldn't be all work
No.
and all struggle, and just, there's so much focus sometimes on like just dealing with the hard, where we want you to, but if you don't incorporate and have some fun in that,
Yeah.
it's all going to be just work. And that's not what marriage is about.
Mm-mm.
We should be enjoying the journey, especially as believers and as Christian couples. We've got to be enjoying our marriages.
Yeah, our marriages should be joy filled,
Mhm.
despite the circumstances.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. And it's, and we look back at it, it's like, whenever we were dating, as a married, or before you get married, you're having a lot of fun. You're doing things,
Yeah.
you're going out exploring and seeing new
Mhm.
things. And then all of a sudden you get married and it stops. And then
Right.
you let life come and start, the stresses, the work, everything else. And then you start putting your marriage on the back burner. And
Mhm.
it's just those little things, things that start eating at your marriage. And over time, it just explodes. And then you're in a
Yeah.
ditch and you're like, what are we
Right.
doing? We're
Yeah,
just
and
making
it's
people
and
passing. and then falling.
it's almost always the slow drift too.
Yeah.
It's that slow fade. It's rarely one big thing that happens. It's a bunch of little daily habits that start setting you in different directions.
Yeah. So what are some of the common pitfalls that y'all see that kind of steer a marriage off course?
Yeah, avoidance.
Mhm.
Avoiding problems, that's what, like I was saying before, a lot of people who'll wait, it's because somehow they feel it's just going to get better somehow.
Yeah.
If we just wait it
Mhm.
out, they're hoping it's going to get better, they kick the can down the road, so to speak. That's part of our story. I was a pleaser. I was very passive. And so, I just kind of thought, okay, well, if I don't bring it up, then things will kind of feel okay for a while.
Yeah.
And so they must be okay.
They don't go away.
They don't go away.
They don't go away. And
No.
also, I think it's hard, especially when you start having children or you have a family. Couples tend to function as a business. It requires a lot of effort, and you have to have a business mentality to run a family.
Yeah, this is your role. This is my role. We'll
Right.
check in with each other at the quarterly business meetings.
Right.
Right.
And the reality is you treat your
We're doing
business
Zoom now.
partners.
Yeah.
That's right. That's so true. It's so true. But you treat your business partners different than you do a spouse.
Mhm.
And if you forget you're married in all the details of running a household, you're going to begin to lose that marriage.
Yeah.
You may have a well-oiled machine as far as everybody gets to soccer practice and dance lessons on time, homework gets done, but you have no connection, and you're slowly disconnecting from one another. And so that disconnection left unaddressed can really set that drift apart in your marriage.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it can start opening doors that shouldn't be opened, and
Oh, yeah.
Right.
start reaching for certain things, trying to fill that intimacy that you're missing. Right.
Right.
Yeah, that should be fulfilled by your spouse.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's, well, I mean, because I was just gonna say, because we forget that we were having fun. We forget that we
Mhm.
were friends and we did all these things together and we had this bond. And then it's now all of a sudden we just become like somehow
We're mom and dad.
yeah, we're different
Mhm.
people,
Mhm.
and and you don't fill my needs anymore. And so I'm gonna need to figure out how I fill my own needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or find somebody else.
I just don't
who
want to go
can.
too far.
Too
Yeah,
deep
yeah.
into
Too deep. Chris took a dark turn. I thought we were talking about fun.
It's real life though. I mean, this is the stuff
Mhm.
that's happening on a regular basis. And it is so
Mhm.
slow. Like for our marriage, because we both came out of very high conflict issues when we got married, we thought just because we didn't fight, everything was okay. Like what y'all are saying.
Yes.
I didn't want, like you were saying, Chris, I didn't want to bring stuff up because I didn't want to set him off. And it wasn't until like just a couple years ago that I realized he wasn't ever gonna get set off from that. I had brought that into the marriage, that he
Mm.
had my dad's qualities and my ex's qualities, and that if I said the wrong thing, he was going to explode. And so finally I started to say stuff to him, and he handled it so graciously, like just like chill and calm and talking. And I'm like, oh, but
What's
I had even
happening?
been protecting my kids from him, scared that he was going to
Mhm.
go off. Like it was so crazy how much I just kept to myself. And then that was eye-opening to me. I was just listening to y'all's
Yes.
last podcast about, covering up the problems and not talking about them and keeping it a secret, especially in the church, keeping it a secret from everybody else,
Yeah.
because you want it to look perfect. You want it to look good. And so that's what we had. We had this family that we created, and we functioned really well together in that inside our home, unless you got too deep, and you saw what people's
Right.
insides and emotions, which we were able to handle for the most part until our kids became teenagers. And then we couldn't handle their emotions.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Scarlett, like you're talking about, we're all going to have problems and different things and different triggers. And it's never the problems that destroy marriages. It's how they're handled.
Mhm.
How you handle those problems is what will determine if your marriage is going to survive or if it's not. And when we become aware of those triggers, when we become aware, like you're saying, hey, you know what? I always treated him like he was going to be my ex or my dad, but you know what? He's not. Now it falls on you to go, what am I going to do with that? Am I going to start trusting this man I'm married to, or am I going to continue to allow myself to be triggered? Or when those triggers come up, am I going to still respond defensively, or am I going to start speaking truth to myself and say, you know what, this is my husband, he's not them,
Yeah.
and starting to change. So it's what you do with those problems, because we're all going to have the issues, but we've got to learn how to handle them appropriately. And that's what makes the difference. And when you're talking about second and third marriages, the divorce statistics keep rising,
Mhm.
but they don't have to. The
Mhm.
only reason they rise is because couples they're not prepared for it. They're not equipped. They're not doing the things they need to. If you change how you respond and how you react, you're not really at risk for divorce.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of control over the divorce statistics in our own marriages.
Mhm.
Just because we're on a second or even a third marriage doesn't mean it has to remain high. It just means you need to do a little bit more work.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
good. And so,
Yeah, we tend to take ourselves with us.
Yes.
yeah, right. But that, Jamie, you hit on such a great topic. Well, what are some of these habits and things that we can put into place?
Preventative type.
Yeah,
things.
preventative maintenance things. If we're in a marriage, we're in a marriage and we're kind of struggling, or we're seeing that, okay, well, we're just falling into these patterns. What are some things, some habits that we can put to where we can start not allowing that to happen?
Well,
Go
I would
ahead.
just say, remember your best friends,
Mhm.
Yeah,
right?
I love that.
Second to God, your spouse should be your most important resource.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
This is why God said, it's not good for man to be alone. I'll give him a suitable helper,
Yeah.
right? There's someone suitable, someone
Mhm.
who's this resource I will gift. It's a sacred gift. And we should actually take advantage of that. And Jamie, we mentioned that before about how we treat coworkers versus our spouse and all that. Well, even our best friends, how do we treat our best friends? We get
Mhm.
excited. We talk to them. We touch base with them with what's going on. We want to get, hey, there's this movie coming out. You want to go see a movie? And we think about fun things to do with them. And we kind of forget that that's we're usually laying next to that person every night, or that
Yeah.
should be that person every night.
Yeah, and it requires daily communication about things other than the mundane, about things other than tasks.
Mhm.
We need to be having conversations about how was your day? Was anything bothering you today? And things like that. We have a weekly Sunday meeting, and we call it a meeting just because we haven't come up with another name for it, but we probably should. But
Oh, to
it's
hang out.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a Sunday night. We kind of look at our schedule. So it does take the practical,
Mhm.
but we use it as a catalyst to connect and to be that resource that Chris is talking about, to look at our schedules and it's like, wow, I'm busier than I thought or busier than I like. And then it's, how can I help you? You know what? Let's not plan to make all the meals at home. I'm going to pick up something on Wednesday night. I'm going to do this. Would it help you if I grab the groceries this week? What do you need from me? You're having a long week. Friday night, how about you go out and go do something, go for a run, go for whatever you're going to do. And so we look at all the mundane, but then we make it purposeful by making it an opportunity to connect at a deeper level and to be a resource.
Mhm.
And the more of a resource we are to one another, the more we run towards that person.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
you want space to do that.
Yeah, we found out in past history that stressed Chris is grumpy Chris, and and I would withhold, right? I wouldn't share that I always got stressed or all that. I'd just be grumpy Chris, and then if Jamie for a while would even self blame. What am I doing wrong? What am I? Until she realized, oh no, he's just being a big jerk, and which is fair.
Which is my clue to know he needs me to check in on him.
Yeah.
When he starts getting grumpy or jerky,
Mhm.
that is a clue for me to know he's withholding.
Yeah.
And so what's going on? What are you really upset for?
In the past, because right, if I'm doing something wrong, well, I'm gonna pull back. Or if he's just being a big jerk, I'm gonna pull back. Oh wait, he needs me. I'm gonna
Mhm.
pull in. So some of these meetings, these connections, right? These times of connections, we're able to share. Hey, look, this is gonna be a really probably stressful week for me. We're doing this and this and
Mhm.
this and all that's going on. So I'm probably gonna be stressed. Okay,
Mhm.
let's get ahead of this.
Yeah.
What can we
Let's
do?
add in some fun. Let's make sure, we've got to have a date night, or
Yeah.
we're going to grab coffee in the morning or something simple. This doesn't need to be extravagant. It
Right.
can be carving out a time. We're going to watch a movie before bed.
Mhm.
We're going to connect this week and break up a lot of that work and that stress that's going
Yeah,
on.
connecting regularly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that because, and in marriage, that's such the hard thing. And we've learned that too, that when we started fighting the most, it was when we had the kids and the most activities and everything. We were just so busy. And it's the opposite of that, because you're like, okay, this person is being a butthead or they're being a jerk or whatever. I don't want to be around them is your natural tendency.
Yes.
Let's
Mhm.
cause, more division between us, because why would I want to be around you when you're acting like that? But it's the opposite is the solution. And it's that you need to come
Yes.
together and spend that time together is actually what's going to unite you again and bring
Mm.
that fun and that joy and just ease that tension down. But it's the opposite of what you want to do naturally.
Oh yeah. Oh,
It
come
is.
here, you big porcupine. Give me a hug.
Hey, B fam, we'll be back in just a minute. Check this out.
So Scarlett, what's your favorite thing about summer?
If I had to pick just one thing, I'd say having fun with my family. I feel like summer is the easiest time to go on new adventures. We laugh more together, create more memories, stuff like that. What about you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Me too. I love the beach, family hangouts, barbecuing outside. I can smell it. Hanging out by the pool. It's crazy because it always seems that everyone gets along so much better when we're doing things we all like doing.
I agree. That's exactly why we created Enjoy the Journey.
For sure. We found out that having fun together as a family gives you that joy-filled home that brings healing and keeps your family healthy, both mentally and physically. Then we lean on what God says in Proverbs 17:22, that a joyful, cheerful heart brings healing to both body and soul. But the one whose heart is crushed struggles with sickness and depression. We found that when our family is having more fun together, all the blended family challenges weren't near as bad. Our family becomes stronger, healthier. So we try to create more of those opportunities, which led us to create Enjoy the Journey. This is a new way that guides your family through finding more things your family enjoys doing together.
It really does. And it's so easy to do. I think the great thing about it is that it helps you find more family things that you like doing, but it also guides you through finding more fun things for your marriage, more fun things for each one of your kids, and it's especially helpful for the step-parent relationships. It really shows you that the more fun you have, the less problems you'll see.
It walks your family through finding more things you like doing in a fun way, and it sets you up to walk away with a great plan that your family will love. So no matter how long you've been a blended family, this meets you where you're at. It really is a fun journey that your family will be so glad you went on. So check it out. The link is in the show notes, and let your family enjoy the journey today. Now back to this episode. I love how you put that as being a resource for your partner, and checking in. That I love that y'all are doing the weekly check-ins with each other and kind of looking over your calendars. We've seen that as such a great success whenever we can do that, as well as and that's something that we never did and until probably a few years back. It's like, man, this is golden, because if we're not knowing what we have coming up, how can we stay together and help each other? So yeah, really, like you said, being that resource for your spouse and checking in. And we talked this past week on self-care, and what you had said too is that you're checking in. Maybe you need to go off and go for a walk, or
Yes.
maybe you need a little self-care as well. And just being that spouse that's checking in and just helping assist each other, and
Yeah.
having that mutual helpmate situation. Man, powerful, good stuff. Man, so we talk about fun, y'all. You're one of your
The definition of fun is
one of your slogans is enjoy the journey, and I love that because that's something that God placed on our hearts as well. I think it's so easy in a marriage or in a family as a parent that you're constantly looking for that next milestone before I can be happy. It's like, well, once we
Right.
get here, then I'll find happiness. Once we get here,
Yeah.
and we look back at kind of where we were, and that's kind of what God administered to us. It's like, I can't, I don't want you to look here. I want you to enjoy where you're at right now. Enjoy the journey where you're at right now. You can find happiness here. And so I love y'all's slogan. How can a married couple have fun? What are some, what's fun? How can you keep your marriage fun?
Well, that's a great question as far as what's fun, because because I was going to say before you ask what's fun is prioritize fun, but I guess
You
first
need to identify.
figure out
fun.
what's fun, because playing video games might be fun for me, and and for Jamie it's might be doing a puzzle.
Yeah.
I am not a big puzzle fan.
I know, it makes me so mad that you're not a puzzle person.
Why can't you be a puzzle fan?
But I don't get mad that you don't like video games.
Maybe
so
y'all can do a puzzle video game, right?
Right,
A
there
video
you
game
go.
puzzle. Yeah.
But you do have to identify what is fun for you individually. and
Yeah.
for you as a couple. And a lot of the husbands, like husbands are huge on having a friendship in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That is a top priority to a lot of
shoulder to
husbands
shoulder.
out there.
Yeah.
And so just the shoulder to shoulder time, even, you know, let's go for a walk,
Mhm.
let's sit next to each other, let's do, you know, something together that doesn't have to be extravagant, but it's also about being silly.
Mhm.
Have like, I know Chris is a huge fan of all of our inside jokes, and
Mhm.
like we can't tell anybody some of these jokes, like, and that is always so fun for us because we'll have this great moment of hysterical laughter, and it's usually inappropriate that we cannot share with anybody. But that is such a gift to our marriage
Mhm.
because it's something we always know about. And you know, you can make date nights creative as
Oh, sure.
well. And
Yeah.
we know a lot of couples who will do like an ABC dating method
Oh,
where
what's that?
they go through the alphabet and they do a date that has to do with every letter of the alphabet.
Huh.
And so like an A would be, you know, they go somewhere just for appetizers,
Okay.
you know, or something like that, or a beat, like I'm not going to be able to think on the spot here, but that's the idea behind it is you get creative.
Baked goods.
Yes, and they can be really inexpensive or they can be elaborate. They're what you want to do, but it keeps you thinking creatively. Because
Yeah.
you do need time to be creative, and for creativity as well, you need time outside.
Mhm.
Get outside, go for a hike, go for a walk. We love to kayak, and that's just, you have that mental space
Or bike ride.
Yes,
Mhm.
to be creative. And so that is always really good. And
Yeah. Well, and even just playing games. I mean, because
Mhm.
look, a lot of families don't have a lot of extra time, you know, babysitting and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, look, maybe after you get the kids to bed,
Mhm.
then, you know, you just pull out a game that the two of you can play. It also is nice about that is it takes a lot of pressure off. You get face to face, eye to eye, like you
Mhm.
used to do when you're dating.
Right.
And also, and you can talk as much as you want to talk or feel like talking. So, you know, it doesn't put the
Mhm.
pressure on like, okay, now we have to have this deep conversation. We can have a light conversation. We can have a fun
Mhm.
conversation. You know, we can just do something where we remember, oh, that's right. We do like being around each other. And
Yeah, he is my friend.
yeah, we have fun
Yeah.
with each other.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, love that. Yeah. And it's being able to find those common interests together
Mhm.
and saying, you know, what do we like doing together, but getting creative. And that can
Yeah.
be that. I love the ABC thing.
I
That's
know
really
I'm
cool.
sitting here because
I've
I
never
am
heard
a
that.
creative and I like to plan dates. So I'm like, okay, I'm sitting here like, okay, we could do this, could do this. Like, how can I use this with enjoying your blended family? Like, okay, focus.
No. So what are some of the favorite things that y'all enjoy doing as a couple? What have y'all found that's just light y'all up that y'all love doing?
We tend to be explorers.
Mhm.
And so we like new things. So we do enjoy traveling together. We have a convertible and we love just convertible, you know, sunset rides, and
Mhm.
we'll
Straight
drive
around.
and grab an ice cream cone and literally just drive to new places and around town, and we'll have conversations. Sometimes we'll listen to a podcast. So it's really not that elaborate of stuff that we like. We'll like going to
Mhm.
find a new coffee shop, and we're not even coffee drinkers.
How
But
does
we
that
will
work?
go and
Yeah.
yeah,
Get a
we'll
chai
get
tea and, you know.
chai tea and sit and
Oh, there you
talk
go.
Mhm.
and hang out. And we're big sunset chasers.
Yeah, we're big sunset chasers.
We will find an area in our old town. It used to be the Walmart parking lot.
Oh, wow.
Ironically,
It was one of the best places. Yeah.
best places for a sunset, and we would go and just sit there and enjoy sunsets together. So we're not,
Mhm.
we have our fun and we play games. We're like two old people, puzzles and dominoes. Like that. But it's fun. It's
Mhm.
fun stuff. So we do like playing games and stuff as well.
Yeah. You know, because that's what I was thinking too. I mean, in bike riding, when we get a chance
Mhm.
where we live, it's not as very flat, so it's not as fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
gosh, yes.
Yeah.
but if we get to a
Work.
place where it's flat, like Hilton Head Island or something like that, there's bike trails all over the place, and so we just get on some cruisers and just biking around.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just fun to have. We get some, you know, like Jimmy was saying, get outside, get some
Yeah.
white space, get some creativity, get some blur off some of that stress, some shoulder to shoulder. You come back, you know, hey, we did something fun together, and then
Mhm.
so now the next time we have a little dispute that might come up, well, it's not that big of a deal.
It pales in comparison.
Yeah, because
And getting
this is
in
the person I have
nature,
fun with.
getting in nature as well, it gives you a perspective. It shifts it back on God, because you can't be outside in nature and not be reminded of how big and how sovereign and how huge God is.
Are you suggesting it testifies to His Majesty?
I am suggesting
Oh,
that.
okay.
I am suggesting what scripture says. Yes, I am.
Love that. It is so true. And, I think we get trapped inside so much nowadays that we miss that. And there is so therapeutic being outside. And we found just for us, like going for a walk, it's a good shifter for us, to transition from work to our our time after work. And it's like, hey, let's go for a walk together, and we share our highs and our lows of the day, and just be able to talk and stuff, right? And
and
that's
put
great
the
stuff.
Screens down, step away from the screens.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably go for a walk is one of the best ways to do that, because you got the screen up, you're probably running into this.
Yeah, that's right.
And the bike, because I've tried that.
Why didn't you tell me that was coming?
Natural consequences.
Yeah, because it was funnier if I didn't.
Right.
Like even cooking dinner together too is something that we've started doing more recently, where he'll just jump in and help. And it's like, wow, this is just a time that we can come and we're conversating, we're having to do a task, but it makes the task more enjoyable when you have someone there that you can talk with. So.
Yeah, and that's a great example of the side by side. Even if you're not talking, you're side by side. And for a lot of men, that is very fulfilling. And so that's a great thing to do.
Well, and I love how you had said it, that whenever you're having more fun together, you're creating these joyful moments together, kind of bringing back that dating and doing new things, staying connected, that the problems that come up aren't that big of a deal anymore. They're so much easier to be dismissed. You can handle it so much better as a couple together. So it is so powerful just by having more fun. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. As something as simple as you would think, a date night, but you don't realize the benefits of it. I mean, neuroscience, has caught up with that. I mean, even though we're told to be joyful and to rejoice, and again, I tell you, rejoice, right? All those things, but even neuroscience has caught up and said, you got this joy bucket. If you fill it up, then you're less easily shaken.
You can handle the hard things better. And it's that love covers a multitude of sins.
Amen.
And where there's great love, where there's great connection, the sins they really get covered up, and they're just not that significant anymore.
I found that we can actually even laugh at them. Like if you don't attack in that moment and you have fun or whatever, and you're creating those times, then maybe 3 hours later, maybe it's 2 days later or whatever, when you go to say it, you're like, man, I was so mad at you that day. And you just start telling, and you're you can joke about it, and how you were feeling. And then a lot of times when we do that, it's you hear what was going on with the other person as a couple, or even with my children, and you realize what was going on in their head, and really had nothing to do with you, but you were harboring all of that, frustration with them. So it's incredible. It just is. It's so incredible that when you can just have some fun, let go of all of that. And then all of a sudden, what would have made you so mad now is a laughing matter.
Right. That's right. It's great material. Again, that you usually can't share with anybody.
Right, exactly. But I love that y'all have those inside jokes. I'd heard that somewhere before. And so y'all bring up such a great point that you've got those little jokes or those little words or something that even in a crowd, that you can say or give a look or a hand signal or something and it's just between you two, and it's normally inappropriate. It makes you die laughing. It's just a great connections.
Yes.
So listen, we thank you both so much, Chris and Jamie, for just sharing all that wisdom. I know our listeners have taken away a lot just from this short conversation. So love what you both are doing. Where can our listeners connect more with you?
All right. Our primary location we show up is on Instagram, which you all know, and that's at expedition_marriage. But you can find all of our resources and links to our podcasts and everything at expeditionmarriage.org. So we've got a lot of resources. We've got a book, we've got courses, our Instagram, and all kinds of articles. So they're all at expeditionmarriage.org.
Awesome. All right. And we'll put those links in the show notes for all of our listeners as well. Do y'all have anything new coming up or anything else y'all are involved in that you want to share?
We actually have a new course that we just launched a month ago or so. It's the Restoring Connection Plan.
Okay.
It's a 4-week plan. It's a daily email drip that you get and it takes about 10 minutes a day, and you get a video series along with it. And it is intentionally designed to help couples reconnect and restore that connection. And we will give you the link to that, and we will actually give your listeners 10% off with a code that we're going to call Have Fun.
Oh,
Have
love
fun.
that.
So you can offer that to anyone who's listening, because it's a great tool and it's affordable, and you can reconnect in your marriage easily with it.
What I think is awesome about that, because anybody that listens to this podcast, there was so much wisdom that just came out of it. And for me, like my type personality is I want to go do it all, and you can't do it all and change it all and fix it all like in one setting, you know? And so I love that y'all have this where you said it's like emails that are coming out with like a focus.
Mhm.
Is that how?
Yes. And it's questions, it's connecting questions. And some of them are fun, some of them are purposeful, but every week has a different target we're
Mhm.
teaching you to hit. And so you're connecting, you're laughing, and you're learning actual communication skills as well. So
Oh.
each week we take you through something different, but they all involve getting
Mhm.
face to face and connecting and talking for about 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, we've been getting some really, really great
Mhm.
feedback from that for people who've been completing it.
Mhm.
Nice.
I love
That,
that.
yeah, that sounds, I mean, just have fun. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
have
awesome.
That's it.
No, thank you two so much
Yeah.
for being here.
Yeah.
Seriously, this has been like just gold. I know all of our listeners are just sitting there, walking away feeling like revitalized, because it really
Mhm.
is. It's putting that friendship back in your marriage and being intentional, just saying, hey, I love you. We married for a reason, and
Yes.
so let's stay connected and have fun in life. Let's bring more
Yeah.
joy. So
Yeah.
so good stuff. Well, thank you both for being here again. I know this won't be the last time that we're connecting.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
Definitely
thank you
not.
for your wisdom and everything. But so enjoying your blended family, man, I'm telling you, good stuff.
Yeah.
This one you're gonna want to go listen back again and again, take notes,
Yes.
and just sit there and have more fun in your marriage. Y'all married for a reason. Keep that light shining. You got to keep it up and keep it focused. Be intentional, man. So good.
And
so
enjoy
good.
the journey.
And enjoy
There
the
you
journey.
go. Enjoy the journey.
So we will see everyone on the next episode. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has been a blessing and encouraged your family journey.
Make sure you stay connected with us and join our weekly Blended Family newsletter. We send an email out every Friday morning full of support and encouragement.
When you join, we also want to give you a free gift, so go get yours today. The link is in the show notes below.
Have an amazing day, and remember to enjoy the journey with your blended family. And we'll see you on the next episode.